You are using the wrong AI rendering tools, but I don't blame you because every single week there's a new AI tool that comes out and claims it has the best results. You don't have time to test every single AI tool that comes out. That is why in this video, I'm gonna go over best AI rendering tools, breaking them down into 3 categories: the generic image generation, and then traditional rendering plus AI, and then finally, full AI rendering. Every tool will be using the same base image to generate its results and will be judged on the same categories: accuracy, speed, quality, and cost. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna compare all 7 final results. Starting with a generic category with ChatGPT and Google AI Studio. These aren't built specifically for architecture, but architects still use them. So let's see if they actually hold up. My workflow is simple within ChatGPT. I'll bring in a 3D model screenshot as the reference image, and then I'm gonna add a text prompt with detailed descriptions of what I want. So for the first generation, composition looks pretty good at first glance, but if you look closer, you can tell it's extremely over-rendered. The details are too hyper-realistic and almost too crisp. The background buildings, in some instances, are bleeding into the sky, and it doesn't feel like an architecture rendering anymore. It feels more like AI made something up. Now, we can still make edits to the image within ChatGPT using the edit feature, where you select an area, describe what you want, and it regenerates that section. I used it in this instance to add commercial context buildings to the background where it felt a little empty and undeveloped. And it worked for the most part. It made the overall image feel even more artificial. So far, we've discovered the biggest problems are consistency and quality across all views within ChatGPT. But next, I wanted to try out the style consistency between 2 images of the same 3D model screenshot using the same prompt, and this is the result. I would say the style was fairly similar to the first generation. It took almost 3 separate chat sessions to get an accuracy that I was satisfied with. And that's the core issue with ChatGPT. It's not actually built into your 3D modeling software. It's guessing every single time. So let's move on to the ratings. For accuracy, I'll give it a 2 out of 5. There was inconsistent massing and styles across all views, taking multiple iterations to get close to the results that I wanted. For visual quality, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. The results were good, but definitely over-processed and not something I want to share with the client at all. And for cost, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. The free tier gives you roughly 3 to 4 generations that can be extremely helpful, but there's also very accessible tiers within ChatGPT if you want to upgrade for more opportunities. So overall, ChatGPT gets an 8 out of 15. Next up, Google AI Studio. Same workflow, 3D model screenshot, and text prompt. So I'll be running NanoBanana Pro here, using the same reference images to generate the results. So this is what we got from the front elevation perspective. Now, already I think it doesn't feel as fake and over detailed, over emphasized as the ChatGPT version. Now, I know ChatGPT created really good results, but already subjectively, I think this one is better than what we created before. I'm gonna go ahead and upscale the quality to more of a 4K, and the lighting and the materials and even the vegetation just look very crisp. But just like before, I wanna transfer it to another perspective, keeping basically the same style and everything. So this time, in addition to the 3D model screenshot, I added the reference image of that first generation that we created, and then the text prompt. Now, unfortunately, we have this issue sometimes with AI, and especially within Google AI Studio, where it'll just show up the reference image. It doesn't really make any changes. There's either hallucinations or errors, and that's common. So sometimes you either have to open up a new chat, we'll just keep going without the reference image. So I'll just go back to the traditional 3D model screenshot and text prompt. And this is the result that I got. Now let's see how Google AI Studio compares to ChatGPT's rating. For accuracy, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. And that's because it did a lot better job keeping the structure of the 3D model screenshot and applying that to the rendering. But it was still very inconsistent when keeping styles between views. For the visual quality, a 4 out of 5. And that's because I think the details, the materials, and the lighting of the final compositions within Google AI Studio were a lot better and seemed more realistic. Now for cost, it gets a 3 out of 5. And that's because usage-based API pricing makes it harder to predict your spending versus a flat monthly subscription like ChatGPT. So make sure you factor that in when seeing which one you need to use more. The final ratings for each are ChatGPT was 8 out of 15 and Google AI Studio was 10.5 out of 15. Now, when you put them side by side, you can definitely tell a distinct difference in style between each of the AI image softwares. But next up are the traditional rendering softwares that have started to incorporate AI. So let's see how those can compare to the first 2 generic image generations that we've created so far. Now for Enscape. We're gonna have to open up our 3D model and then start Enscape from there. The key difference from everything in category 1 is with Enscape, it's live linked directly to your model, whether in Revit, SketchUp, Rhino, etc. I positioned my view in Enscape and then activated Varus, Enscape's AI plugin. No lighting adjustments, no material setup, just synced the view and typed in a prompt. We can capture exact views from the 3D model and apply the AI rendering to that. Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be perfect, and the accuracy is sometimes not there, as you saw, but we can create multiple iterations extremely fast, like you can see in this library of images I created within Varus. So I'm testing out different styles and strategies, making sure that I can get the utmost consistency with the images. So as you see with that image, it's fairly consistent to the 3D model screenshot that we have. And next, I want to do the same thing, but with a different view. So I'm going to copy and paste the prompt and then sync in another view within Varus. Now, it takes a few iterations to get the exact consistency of the view that I wanted. There are some errors in terms of the viewport angles are a little off and skewed, so we don't like that. But overall, I think the final results that I were able to generate were pretty good and pretty consistent to not only the 3D model that we had, but also the prompt that I inputted. But we can take things a step further and start to edit the images that we've created within Varus using the masked region feature. So once I've selected this area, I'm going to type in a text prompt to generate a sculpture garden in the selected masked area. And then we're able to create multiple generations, and you can do this with multiple strategies to test out and edit different areas of your renderings. For the ratings, accuracy is a 4.5 out of 5. The live sync capabilities that Enscape provides is game changing. There were a few instances where the viewport angles occasionally drifted from the overall structure, but for the most part, they stayed consistent. For the visual quality, it also gets a 4.5 out of 5. And that's because it uses on the back end Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana 2. And overall, I think the materials, lighting, and consistency were better than the first two AI tools. Now on to cost, which I think really sets back Enscape. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. Enscape starts under just $50 a month, but climbs when you want to start adding in Varus and other features. The tiered pricing gets complicated fast, and I don't necessarily think it's worth how much you have to pay. The final total for Enscape is 11 out of 15, which is the best so far. We're gonna have to see next how that compares with another traditional rendering software using AI, D5 Render. To start, D5 Render's all-in-one workflow will open up D5 Lite within our 3D modeling software. D5 Lite allows us the ability to do real-time rendering within our 3D modeling software. Using D5 Lite's AI feature, you can select a style, adjust the creativity, add a reference image, and use the same text prompt that I've used for the other generations. And then from there, you're able to generate AI renderings within seconds. So here are the results within D5 Lite. In a way, this is very similar to what Enscape provides with the real-time rendering. So as you can see, the structure of the rendering is extremely consistent, showing the before and after of the AI results. Next, I live synced my 3D model and opened up D5 Render. And how I set up my scene the fastest is by first starting off by adding context. So I used the path tool and placed a bunch of buildings at once for the surrounding context. Then I added people for some scale and to populate the scene. But now I'm going to use one of the 6 AI tools that help me speed up and optimize my D5 Render workflow. And that is using the AI Material Snaps tool. So what that allows you to do is bring in a reference image and select a specific area within the image that you want to generate the material. And then it'll generate a PBR material and also provide a couple D5 materials that resemble the same texture. And then you can import it into your project with ease from there. Sometimes D5 Render doesn't have the material you want, so you can import your own. If you do that, I recommend using 2 tools. First, I would click Make Seamless, which then removes the seams from your texture if you had any. And then to enhance the quality, click on Ultra HD Texture. And after this, you should have a much higher quality material than you did when you imported. And as you can see with the before and after results in the model, these 2 features definitely make a significant impact on the quality of the textures that you create. Now that I've set the scene, I'm going to show you the AI tool that helps me save hours adjusting rendering settings. And that's the AI Atmosphere Match tool, which allows me to bring in a reference image and then using its AI features, transforms the existing scene to match the reference image that you've imported. And so within a couple minutes, it's transformed my scene completely to match my reference image. And after that, I usually only have to adjust a couple effects to make sure it looks the best. The biggest cheat code within D5 Render is the AI agent. And in this case, I'm going to use the AI agent to populate a large area of vegetation without having to do it manually. So all you have to do is select the vegetation categories, and then you type in a prompt describing the type of vegetation that you want. And then from there, it generates a table of all the potential vegetation that fits your environment and your scene. And then you're able to use the add scatter tool to select an area that you want it to populate. And within minutes, it generates a full lush environment of the vegetation that you populated. So when I zoom in, you can see the render distance isn't very good because it's very densely populated, but it does the job and shows up at the final renderings. Now this is what it looked like when we brought it in. Then we added the layer of buildings in the surrounding context in the background. Then we added the people. And finally, we incorporated the vegetation. Now, there's only a few more steps till we have the final rendering. So now I'm going to render the image and we're going to bring it into post-processing. Our rendering's done, so let's hop into the post-processing, which is my personal favorite because you don't have to go into Photoshop or any other editing software to make fine adjustments to your renderings. There's 3 ways that you can use the AI post-processing within D5 Render. You can do AI enhancements, AI style transfers, and in-painting, but we're going to start off using the AI enhancement tool to give a little bit more of a final rendering to the scene. Now we're going to go and improve some of the river quality and select the type of water that I'm going to use, which is the river. And then once all those areas are selected, I'm going to click on in-paint and it'll generate the results. Within probably a minute or so, we'll get the final rendering. And so this is the before and after before that in-painting enhancement. It did a drastic improvement, starting to fill in the connection between the river and the surrounding context. For accuracy, it gets a 5 out of 5. And just like Enscape, you can live sync your 3D models to get almost perfect massing from multiple views within the scene. That being said, the visual quality gets a 4 out of 5. And that's because you have to do a lot of setup at the front end. But it certainly pays off at the end when you're using the AI enhancement features to take your renderings to the next level. And compared to other AI tools that we've tested so far in this video, it takes a little bit more time in D5, but what you lose in speed, you gain in accuracy of the final results. That being said, with the plethora of AI tools that D5 Render's incorporated, it's drastically taken down the amount of hours you have to spend setting up a scene and creating a final render. Now for cost, D5 Render also gets a 5 out of 5. And that's because it's free for students. It's also free to everyone for non-commercial use. But if you need to use it for commercial use, you can still upgrade to the Pro and Teams version, which are still competitive compared to some of the other tools we were testing out earlier. So the final tally for D5 Render is 14 out of 15, which is the best by far. Now for the category most of you came here for, full AI architecture rendering tools, built specifically for architecture rendering. So using Xfigura, we're able to work in more of a node-based platform compared to the previous AI tools like ChatGPT and Google AI Studio, which are more chat-based. I have the text prompt that I've been using in the other generations, and then the reference images, and combine those to create these results. So this is what it looks like. And then side by side, we can see how accurate the Xfigura results are, as well as starting to get the details of the images. Here's a couple more generations from this perspective, and then let's go ahead and check that front elevation. So already these image qualities can be enhanced a little bit, but I think they were for just kind of testing out and quick generations. I went into a little more detail, and I'm really starting to like how the quality is brought to life. But as I said before, there's always some inconsistencies with the camera angle and the warping of the structure. But I was finally able to land on this result. And by far, this is my favorite AI result out of this entire video. Not only because of the accuracy between the rendering and the 3D model screenshot, but just look at the crispness of the trees and the details throughout the image and just the accuracy of how everything looks. So these are the final 2 generations that I created in Xfigura. Now for the ratings. Xfigura gets a 4 out of 5 in terms of the accuracy. Results like this are why Xfigura has such a high potential when creating AI renderings, but the inconsistent angles kept me from giving it a perfect score. It has moments where it generates precise accuracy from the final rendering to the original 3D model screenshot. For visual quality, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. And that's because you have a large selection of AI models that you can use. So it really does depend which one you have credits for and which one you're using, depending on the quality that you'll get. But I think overall, the quality that we were able to produce is a pretty high quality, and I liked the results that we got visually. And for the cost, I put 3.5 out of 5. And that's because overall, it's pretty pricey, and the credits that you use tend to rack up and become very expensive. But that being said, for the price point, you get a lot for the product, and the results that you get. And so I think it's a great tool that you can incorporate in your workflow that has good accuracy, good visual quality, and it does come at a cost, but it's a higher quality output. So overall, the total is 12 out of 15 for Xfigura. Gendo also has a similar infinite whiteboard platform as Xfigura. Here, I imported the image that I wanted, and then you can either communicate through the assistant, or you can click on the image, click render design, type in a text prompt description, and also import any reference images that you want, and it'll generate 2 options for you. So these are the first 2 image generations created in Gendo. So right off the bat, I think the lighting and the realism is really good. It's not capturing that creek riverfront that we clearly have in the 3D model screenshot. Now, the rest of the structure is fairly accurate, but it's not catching every single detail, even though it's descriptive in the text prompt. But we're going to create a couple more iterations just to see how the accuracy can change. Since none of the images generated the river, I had to take matters into my own hands and then use the edit tool within Gendo to select the area that I wanted, and then typed in a descriptive text prompt to transform that into a creek/river, adding walkways and a riverfront style. And then from there, it generated 2 iterations. The first iteration was not at all what I wanted, but thankfully the second iteration was exactly what I wanted. I didn't have to put any more time or effort into those edits. So to recap, this is the front elevation and the 4 generations that were created in Gendo. And so all of them did a pretty good job, except they all left out the river until I was able to use the edit feature to get the final result. And then this is from the second perspective that we created, and these are the results from there. Again, all of these were pretty good, a fairly similar style, but I thought out of all of them, this one and this one had not just the best results, but also the most accurate between perspectives. Now let's move on to Gendo's ratings, starting with accuracy, which I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was pretty good in terms of accuracy, but it wasn't perfect, and there was a lot of times where it was very inconsistent with how close it got to the reference image. That being said, there were also more instances where it didn't render things like the river or different materials and elements in the context, and so there's no way I could have given it anything higher. For the visual quality, I gave it a 4 out of 5, and that's because I think a lot of the images resemble more of like a professional architecture photography, which I think that style is inherently good, but it still needs a little bit more work to really take that jump to the next level of ArcViz quality. Now, for the final category, that's cost. And this is where I really had a problem. I gave it a 1 out of 5, and you have the free plan, which is extremely limited. And if you want to upgrade to the next level, you're going to have to pay 66 euros a month, which in comparison to some of the other tools that we've used, you're getting better results and you're paying 2 to 3 times less than you would using Gendo. Now, I have nothing against this software, and I think it has a lot of potential, especially since it's focused on more architecture styled AI renderings, but I think the price is a huge hurdle, especially for a lot of beginners that aren't used to doing AI rendering. So Gendo ends with an 8 out of 15. Now that you've seen all 6 final renderings, here's the honest breakdown. For the generic category, ChatGPT and Google AI Studio are fast and accessible, especially for beginners. The pros are the inconsistency and structure of the final images. That being said, the best use cases for these tools are things like mood boards and early concept designs. Next, the traditional rendering softwares Enscape and D5 Render. This is where I recommend you start, because you have the base of the live synced 3D model for accuracy, and then you have the AI features in both tools that help you enhance the speed and the quality at which you produce your final rendering. And finally, the full AI architecture rendering tools. These have a lot of potential, but they still have a long way to go when it comes to consistency of the generations, as well as integrating it into actual architects and designers' workflows. So here are the final scores. D5 Render wins with a score of 14 out of 15, followed by Enscape, Xfigura, Google AI Studio, Gendo, and ChatGPT. And if you want to try out any of the tools that I used in this video, I'll leave the links in the description below. So if you found this video informative and helpful, I post workflows and new tools that I find every week in my school community. Thank you guys for watching, and welcome to the grind.